Thank you very much, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention for a moment? If you don't know who I am, I'm Kimberlie Hamilton. I'm the co-founder of the J.J.R. McLeod Society. And I just wanted to say a warm welcome today to our event sponsors, CNR International, and they've sent 3 of their representatives today. Maybe they can raise their hand to let themselves be known. Allison Crichton there, and Simon Kelsey, who is type 1. We're really happy to have him here. And also Ewart Hutton. He's here as well from CNR, and he has type 1 diabetes as well. So really happy to have them here. And thank you so much, CNR International, for hosting this. So it's my great honor to introduce, thank you. It's an honor to introduce Professor Mirela Delibegovic, who was recently appointed by King Charles as the University of Aberdeen's Regius Professor of Physiology. There are only 2 positions, 2 Regiuses in all of the UK. There is only one that has been appointed, and that is Mirela, which we're very proud of. She's also the first female to hold this role. So I think she deserves a round of applause. So today, as we've mentioned before, is the 148th anniversary of J.J.R. McLeod's birthday. And so we've invited Mirela here to give a toast to her predecessor, J.J.R. McLeod.
Thank you so much, Kimberlie, and thank you for the invitation to do this. I have to say this is just a huge honor. You'll be really pleased to see that I don't have a written speech, so I'm only going to be 2 to 3 minutes, as I was asked by Kimberlie. But I'd first like to just thank Kimberlie and John for doing this. I think this is such an amazing thing, and I would like to thank our Canadian guests for coming over to actually keep this momentum going. I think this is so important. As Kimberlie said, we are celebrating the 148th birthday, which is quite amazing. And J.J.R. McLeod, he was the Regius Chair of Physiology. And I just wanted to tell you, just in case you didn't know, that once you become the Regius, you're no longer the professor. You're not called Professor McLeod. He would have been the Regius. So I guess that's my new title, and I quite like it. And it is a huge honor and a privilege to really follow in those footsteps. When my husband, Nimish, and I moved here from Boston, from Harvard Medical School in 2007, the main attraction of coming to Aberdeen was actually that J.J.R. McLeod was here and that he was the Regius here, the Regius Chair of Physiology. We've both worked in the field of diabetes for many years. I've been working on diabetes for over 25 years now. So it was a huge honor. And another big name that attracted us was Professor Kevin Doherty, who actually held the J.J.R. McLeod chair until very recently when he retired a couple of years ago. So I keep spilling this because there's nowhere to put the drink, sorry. So rather than reflecting on the past, I thought I would just tell you for a couple of minutes about what we are doing now. So in 2018, we actually formed what is called as Aberdeen Cardiovascular and Diabetes Centre, thank you, or ACDC. And the idea was to bring all these researchers around the University of Aberdeen and NHS Grampian together under one umbrella so that we can actually work on big problems and big solutions. And we kind of formed ourselves not around research teams, but it was about what impacts we wanted to have on a society and the world in general. And those 5, if I can remember them, was reducing the risk of developing diabetes and heart disease, improving diagnosis, better treatments for these diseases, better education, and better communication. So just to kind of reflect upon each one of these. So reduction of risk. You heard from Professor Bhattacharya at the beginning about the work that's happening within the Rowetts, but actually the work within ACDC. We are working, for example, on nutritional interventions to improve health, so to postpone development of diabetes. We are improving diagnostics. So I don't know how many of you know that the first clinically used MRI machine was actually built here, right in Aberdeen, and it's exhibited in Aberdeen Royal Infirmary if any of our guests have the time to see it. So we've built on that, and actually there was a paper just last week on the first use of fast field cycling machines, so we can actually have much, much better detection of disease and comorbidities that come with diabetes very quickly. Better treatments. Most of us, there are 30 group leaders within the centre and about 80 associated members. That includes PhD students and postdoctoral fellows who do all the groundbreaking work. We're working on repurposing current drugs, coming up with novel solutions for treatment of diabetes. I'll give you an example of some of the work. We have George McElroy here, who, I don't know if George is still here, if he can raise his hand, he's right at the back. So George McElroy is a recipient of Diabetes UK R.D. Lawrence Fellowship. This is a 5-year fellowship given to one person per year, and he got it 2.5 years ago, right? And he's working on gene therapy solutions for diabetes, but also severe forms of diabetes that are associated with lipodystrophy, for example. We've got our own work within our own laboratory. So Nimish and I are working with a spin-out company who's a local company on a project that is funded by Innovate UK, which is actually detecting development of type 1 diabetes in individuals who may be susceptible years in advance by actually coming up with better antibody solutions to detect these. And we are trying to minimize these in the form of a lateral flow test. So all these things are coming up. So what I'm hoping to achieve, I guess, is to say that, yes, we are building on our rich history of insulin and diabetes discoveries, but actually we are hoping that JGR MacLeod would be very proud of us, of what we are trying to achieve at the moment and keep Aberdeen on the map. Better education and better communication. Obviously, we do a lot of public engagement events, and we've also started up masters in diabetes and cardiovascular disease, and we have our own NHS clinicians who are here today contributing to that teaching. So all of these, I hope, are showing what we are trying to do here. So with that, I would just like to say thank you so much, and I would like to say happy birthday to JGR MacLeod, our Regis.